live from the Now Media Newsroom.
So I interviewed Mario Canseco. Really good interview, actually. Mario Canseco is the pollster that we use for the Trump election, we use for the provincial elections, and we use for the federal elections. And he came out with a poll, and who were the people to replace John Rustad? And there was 5 names that we came up with, and Gavin Dew was one of the names, and he's one of the front runners, actually. Gavin Dew, Eleanor Sturko was another one. Then also there was a bunch of people. Christy Clark's name came up, and I just think, well, Christy Clark is, she'll wear any hat that you're willing to give her power, right? Just like, I'm a liberal, I'm a conservative.
That's why she joins all the parties. So she's got every ground, everything's covered.
She hasn't joined the NDP yet, so maybe that's
How do we know? That might come out.
I think it's well worth watching. John Rustad refusing to step down, though, even though Mario Canseco says it's really going to come down to what the fundraising looks like here in this next time they report their fundraising here. So see if people are done giving him money, because and that's what happened to Falcon, right? They just pulled the rug out from underneath him. They just said, there's no money for you. And that's when Falcon threw in the towel. Basically just went dark that day with everybody.
Yeah, he had the last laugh, didn't he? He jumped on that magic rug, and went for a flight. Went for a nice little fly around. We haven't seen him. Somewhere in the Baghdad area, perhaps, seeing Aladdin.
And then David Eby had his leadership convention there yesterday. And then Ravi Parmar, who's been talked about a lot as his replacement, came out and congratulated him. And Eby getting a strong, resounding victory as the BC NDP convention, with 83% of the members voting against it. They didn't even get a review. They didn't even put him up for a review, really. They just said, like, he's our man. I'm surprised at that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there was no conspiracy in the background, was there? There was no Brutus ready to shank him in the back. So in the absence of that, it's just no challenger. So
one of the things I would do is I would go watch the Mario Canseco interview, and then one of the comments in there is the Conservatives seem to want to air their laundry by throwing it all around the room, where at least David Eby, one of the things you can say about the NDP is that they kind of keep it in a basket and they keep it all contained, and nobody gets to see all the dirty laundry. They do a good job of keeping their, and I would even say the Liberals do a fairly good job of trying to keep their mess contained.
Big time.
Yeah. So
even like 2 cases that come to mind involving anti-Semitism in the Liberal Party and also in the PCNDP. And Selena Robinson, the PCNDP, she's the closest that we've come to somebody kind of like blowing the whistle and saying, like, look at the mess that's going on here. Because she, it's been said by some observers that she was basically pushed out and it was to do with anti-Semitism and anti-Israel ideology, at least. But they contained that very rapidly, didn't they? And it just kind of dribbled away. It disappeared. And then in the Liberal Party, I can't remember the guy's name now, but I'm sure you know who I mean. The Jewish MP who talked about anti-Semitism and was freaking out about a lot of things. He's now some sort of junior minister in the Liberal government. So they figured it out, I guess.
One of the other comments with Mario Canseco, which is well worth watching, is and I just lost my train of thought there. But there's some good stuff in that interview for sure.
Anthony House's father, by the way, is the name of that guy that I was thinking of.
There you go. I'd go watch that interview. Oh, that's what it was. Between Jeff Moyse and Mario Canseco. A lot of thoughts on this couch and land decision we're going to talk about in a second here is being run right out of the Premier's office, that not a lot of the MLAs have knowledge on it. So I'd go watch the Jeff Moyse interview and also the Mario Canseco interview. You get some insights there as to what's going on. So I was wondering why none of the NDP MLAs would push back on it, because this could be the big moment where we see pitchforks in the street and that for David Eby because of what's happening with property rights. I did do an interview. I do a kind of a regular interview with Dennis Storchuk, and then also he brought in Andre, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce his last name. And then the young man in the bottom corner there did fight for the Ukrainian army, was wounded there, and then since then has left for Canada with his pregnant wife, who's a doctor here, but can't be a doctor here, so she can't work as a doctor. But they can't get PRs, so this whole interview is about there's 300,000 Ukrainians here in Canada. They can't get their PR, and according to Dennis, when he talked to Mark Carney personally, they said it's because Zelensky doesn't want them to give him permanent residency status. He wants them back in Ukraine. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, what a horror show that is, that whole thing. I feel very sad for the Ukrainians because their energy now, their energy system is being like systematically and very sort of effectively targeted, and they're running out of energy now.
We're going to try and do an interview. Dennis is going to set it up, so we're going to actually try to interview somebody from Kiev next time he comes in. We're going to actually try to do a call from somebody in Kiev and talk about that, because they are having rolling blackouts, or like they only get power like 3 hours of the day. And we're coming into winter, and we all know that winter is not very kind in Ukraine and or in Russia.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.